Hello, my friends, and welcome to Chatcraft English. I'm Sophie, and today we are going to talk about something very interesting and very real for many people being ambitious, but also lazy. Have you ever felt this way? You have big dreams. You imagine yourself speaking English fluently, getting a great job traveling, or achieving success in your life. You know what you want, and you even get excited when you think about it. But when it comes to taking action, something strange happens. Suddenly, you feel tired, distracted, or unmotivated. You say to yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow." Days pass, weeks pass, and your dream stays only in your head. This is what we call ambitious but lazy. You want something, but you don't do the consistent work to reach it. And the truth is, many English learners struggle with this problem. So let's explore together. Why does this happen? Why do people have strong ambitions, but often feel too lazy to act? And most importantly, how can you change this pattern so that your ambition turns into action and your action leads to real success? First, let's understand ambition. Ambition is the desire to achieve something great. It gives you vision, direction, and energy. Without ambition, you stay where you are. Ambition is like a fire in your heart that says, "I want more. I can be more." It's the reason you start thinking, "I want to learn English. I want to be confident. I want to succeed." Ambition is powerful because it pushes you to imagine a better future. But here's the problem: ambition alone is not enough. Ambition gives you the dream, but only action makes the dream real. And this is where laziness comes in. Laziness is that voice that says, "Relax, you can do it later. Watch a video, scroll your phone. Take a nap, it's fine." Laziness loves comfort. It makes you choose what is easy now instead of what is important for the future. This is why so many people stay stuck. They have the fire of ambition, but laziness pours water on that fire. They want to change, but they don't act. They want results, but they don't practice. Let me give you an example. Imagine a person who dreams of speaking English fluently. They imagine themselves traveling, talking with people confidently, maybe working in another country. That's their ambition. But every day, instead of practicing, they spend hours on social media. They say, "Tomorrow I'll start," and tomorrow never comes. Does this sound familiar? Maybe it has happened to you. And it's okay because many people experience it. But the key is this: you can learn how to break this pattern. You can learn how to turn ambition into consistent action. The first step is awareness. You need to recognize when you are ambitious but lazy. Ask yourself honestly, am I just dreaming, or am I actually doing something every day to move closer to my goal? Because dreaming feels good, but only doing brings results. The second step is to understand that action doesn't need to be big. Many people think they need to study English for 2 hours every day or do something very impressive. But the truth is, small, consistent actions are much more powerful. Even 10 minutes of focused practice every day is better than nothing. Even one page of reading or one short conversation helps you more than just imagining success. So here's the secret: ambition gives you the vision, but habits give you the results. If you want to stop being ambitious but lazy, you need to build habits that make action automatic. For example, instead of saying I'll study English when I feel motivated, decide that every morning after breakfast, you will listen to 5 minutes of English. Make it part of your routine, just like brushing your teeth. At first it feels small, but soon it becomes natural. And when habits are strong, laziness has no power. Another powerful idea is to connect your ambition with your daily identity. Don't just say, I want to learn English. Say, I am the kind of person who learns English every day. Identity is stronger than ambition. When you believe this about yourself, your actions follow. And remember, action creates motivation. Many people wait until they feel motivated to act. But the truth is the opposite. When you start acting, you create motivation. Even if you don't feel like practicing, just start. Once you begin, you feel better, and you want to continue. So the lesson is clear: ambition is wonderful, but without action, it's just a dream. To succeed, you must fight laziness with small daily habits. Every time you act, even in a small way, you bring your ambition closer to reality. Sometimes people describe themselves as ambitious but lazy. At first, this may sound strange. How can you want big things but not want to work for them? But actually, this feeling is very common. Many learners, especially those studying English, feel the same. They dream about speaking fluently, about traveling, about getting a better job. But when it comes to studying, they say, I'll do it later. The truth is, ambition and laziness can live together in the same person. You may have a clear picture of what you want, but at the same time, you don't feel like taking action today. You wait for the perfect time, the perfect mood, or the perfect energy. But let me tell you something important: there is no perfect time. If you always wait for motivation, you might keep waiting forever. So, how do we solve this problem? The first step is to understand why laziness shows up. Often, it's not that you are lazy. Sometimes you are tired or afraid of failure, or maybe the goal feels too big. When a task feels too big, your brain wants to avoid it. For example, saying, I will study English for 3 hours every day can feel impossible. So instead of starting, you do nothing. That's why breaking big goals into small, easy steps is the key. Let's take an example. Imagine you want to improve your English vocabulary. Instead of saying, I will memorize 1,000 new words this year, start small. Say I will learn 5 new words today. 5 words may not feel like much, but in a week, that's 35 words. In a month, it's over 100. And in a year, it's more than 1,000. See, small actions every day build up to big results. Ambition without action is like having a car but never starting the engine. It looks nice, but it won't take you anywhere. The trick is to create momentum. Momentum is like energy in motion. Once you start, it's easier to keep going. For example, if you don't feel like studying, tell yourself, I will just do 5 minutes. Very often, those 5 minutes turn into 15 or 30. Because once you begin, your brain feels more ready to continue. Another important thing is to connect your ambition with emotion. Ask yourself, why do you want to learn English? Do you want to study abroad? Do you want to travel? Do you want to understand movies without subtitles? When you remember the reason, your ambition becomes stronger and laziness becomes weaker. Sometimes people also confuse rest with laziness. Rest is important. If you are truly tired, sleeping or relaxing is necessary. But laziness is different. Laziness is when you have the energy, but you choose to do something easier, like watching videos or scrolling your phone instead of taking action. So be honest with yourself. Am I resting or am I just avoiding the work? Let's talk about one more powerful idea: discipline. Many people believe they need motivation first. They wait to feel inspired before starting. But discipline means you act even when you don't feel like it. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't need motivation for that. You just do it every day. If you build the same habit with English, you won't always fight with laziness. Studying will simply become part of your routine. So ambition is a great thing. Laziness is natural, but it doesn't have to control you. By starting small, remembering your reasons, and building discipline, you can turn your dreams into reality. And remember, every step counts. Even a short practice today is better than waiting for the perfect moment tomorrow. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you told yourself, tomorrow I will start? Tomorrow I will wake up early. Tomorrow I will exercise. Tomorrow I will study English. Tomorrow I will finish that project. But then when tomorrow arrives, you don't do it. Instead, you repeat the same promise, I'll do it tomorrow. And slowly, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and sometimes even years. You may still have the same dream, the same goal, the same ambition, but it is trapped in the prison of laziness. This is the dangerous part of being ambitious but lazy. Your dreams do not disappear. They stay alive in your mind. You keep thinking about them, imagining them, talking about them. But because you do not act, your dreams become a source of pain. They remind you of what you want but don't have. They remind you of what you could be but are not. And that gap between who you are and who you want to be becomes heavier every day. Let me give you an example. Imagine a student who wants to speak English fluently. She watches motivational videos, reads articles, buys books, and feels very inspired. She even makes a plan: I will study English for 1 hour every morning. But when morning comes, she sleeps in. When she wakes up, she tells herself, I'll do it later. But later, she is busy with other things. At night, she feels guilty, but also tired. So she says, I will start tomorrow. And the cycle repeats. Does this sound familiar? Many of us fall into this trap. We are ambitious, we want success, we want change. But laziness whispers in our ear. Not now, later. Just relax today. You can start tomorrow. And if we listen to that voice too often, we never begin. Here's the truth. Ambition without action is just a dream. Laziness without control destroys ambition. If you want to break free, you must learn to take the first step, no matter how small. Let's look deeper at why this happens. Laziness is not always about being tired or weak. Sometimes it comes from fear. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of the unknown. Starting something new requires effort. It takes energy. It challenges your comfort zone. So your brain tries to protect you by avoiding the hard work. Laziness becomes a shield. But that shield also blocks your growth. For example, maybe you want to practice speaking English with others. But you are afraid of making mistakes. you worry about what people will think. So instead of practicing, you tell yourself, I'll wait until I'm better. You keep waiting, but you never improve because you don't practice. Laziness hides the fear, but it also keeps you stuck. Now, think about ambition. Ambition is powerful. It gives you energy, vision, and hope. It shows you a picture of a better future. But ambition without discipline is like a car without fuel. It looks nice, it has potential, but it cannot move. Discipline is the fuel that drives ambition forward. Without discipline, laziness takes control. So how can we break the cycle of being ambitious but lazy? The answer is simple. Start small and start now. Do not wait for the perfect day. Do not wait until you feel ready. Action comes before motivation, not after. If you want to learn English, do not promise yourself 1 hour every day from the beginning. Start with 5 minutes today. Just 5 minutes. Open a book, listen to a podcast, repeat a few sentences. Tomorrow, do it again. Slowly increase the time. The key is not the size of the step, but the consistency of taking steps. Think about a mountain. You cannot jump to the top in one leap. But if you take small steps every day, you will reach the peak. Laziness says it's too far too hard. But discipline says 1 step today, another tomorrow. And soon you are higher than you thought possible. Here's another practical tip: create an environment that supports action. If you want to study, prepare your materials the night before. Put your book on the desk. Keep your phone away. If you want to exercise, place your shoes next to your bed. Make it easy to start and hard to avoid. Small adjustments like these can reduce the power of laziness. And remember, action creates momentum. Once you begin, it is easier to continue. For example, maybe you don't feel like studying English today, but you tell yourself, I'll just study for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you may feel more motivated and continue for 20 minutes. But even if you stop at 5, you win because you broke laziness and chose action. So being ambitious but lazy is not a permanent identity. It is a habit, and habits can be changed. By taking small steps, facing your fears, and building discipline, you can transform laziness into productivity. Your dreams are waiting for you, but they cannot wait forever. If you want to bring them to life, you must act. Start today. Start now. Even if it's small, it is better than nothing. Because ambition plus action equals progress. And progress, no matter how small, will lead you to success. Some people think laziness means doing nothing at all. But the truth is, many ambitious but lazy people are not really lazy in the traditional sense. They are active, but only in the things they enjoy. They might spend hours playing games, scrolling through social media, or talking with friends. They can be full of energy in these moments. But when it comes to studying, improving skills, or taking action on their dreams, suddenly they feel tired. Do you recognize this pattern? It is not that they lack ambition. The problem is that their ambition does not match their actions. Inside, they want big results. They dream of speaking English, fluently starting a business, traveling the world, or becoming successful in their career. But every time they need to do the hard work, their mind looks for shortcuts. They say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll start when I feel ready. And so days pass, weeks pass, even years pass. This is why ambition without consistent action leads to frustration. The ambitious but lazy person often feels stuck between two worlds. One world is their dream world, full of big ideas and future success. The other world is their real life, where little changes because they don't act enough. This gap between dream and reality creates stress and even guilt. They know they could do more, but they stop themselves. Let me give you an example. Imagine a person who wants to learn English. They buy books, download apps, and follow English channels on YouTube. They watch motivational videos and get excited. But when it comes to practicing every day, they skip. They say, "I'll practice later." Soon, 1 week passes, then 2 weeks, and they lose their progress. Later, they feel sad and say, "Why am I not improving?" The answer is simple: ambition without daily action will not work. So what can an ambitious but lazy person do? The solution is not to kill their ambition. Their dreams are important. But they must learn to break their goals into very small steps. Instead of waiting for a perfect moment, they can start with just 5 minutes of practice. For example, speak 1 English sentence aloud each morning. Write 3 new words in a notebook. Listen to 5 minutes of English audio while walking. These small steps are easy, and they build the habit of action. Another important strategy is discipline. Many people wait for motivation to arrive. But motivation comes and goes. If you wait for motivation, you may stay stuck. Discipline means doing what you must even when you don't feel like it. Think of brushing your teeth. You don't wait for motivation, you just do it. If you treat your English practice the same way, you will improve slowly but surely. Ambitious but lazy people also need to control distractions. Social media games and TV are fun, but they can steal hours every day. If you reduce even 30 minutes of distractions, you will have extra time for your goals. Remember, 1 small action every day is better than dreaming for a whole year without action. Finally, reward yourself. If you study English for 10 minutes, celebrate that success. Say to yourself, "I did it today." Small rewards create positive feelings and make it easier to continue. Over time, the ambitious but lazy person can transform into an ambitious and disciplined person. The main lesson is this: ambition is powerful, but ambition without consistent action leads nowhere. If you want to change your life, stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start small, start now, and repeat daily. Little by little, you will see progress, and your dreams will move closer to reality. Sometimes being ambitious but lazy creates a cycle of frustration. You want to achieve something meaningful, but you keep putting it off, and then you feel guilty for not taking action. This guilt makes you feel even less motivated, and the cycle continues. To break this cycle, it helps to replace guilt with curiosity. Instead of thinking, "Why am I so lazy?" you can ask yourself, "What small step would feel easy right now?" For example, if you dream of learning English fluently but feel too tired to study, you could listen to a short English podcast while lying down. It's not a full study session, but it's progress, and progress keeps your ambition alive. Over time, these little steps build momentum, and momentum is what transforms lazy ambition into real results. Many successful people also struggle with this balance. They admit that discipline does not come naturally and that their minds often resist effort. But instead of giving up, they learn to negotiate with themselves. They set up systems that make taking action easier. For instance, if you know you avoid opening your textbook, you might instead set your phone to play English videos automatically at a certain time. That way, you reduce the decision-making and action happens with less resistance. Another important shift is to focus on consistency rather than intensity. Ambitious people often imagine huge, life-changing efforts, studying for 5 hours a day, running every morning, or working non-stop on their goals. But when laziness strikes, these big plans collapse. The secret is to aim for small, repeatable actions. 10 minutes of English each day is more powerful than 3 hours once a month. When you do something daily, it becomes part of your identity, not just an occasional event. You begin to see yourself as the kind of person who always takes action, even in small ways, and that identity fuels bigger progress later. In the end, ambition without effort is just a dream, and effort without direction is just busy work. The challenge of being ambitious but lazy is to connect your dreams with actions that are simple enough to do, but meaningful enough to matter. Every time you take even a tiny step, you close the gap between who you are and who you want to be. That is how ambitious dreams stop being only ideas and start becoming your reality.